Nation. This is the Songwriter Podcast.
Yeah, that night times are just freezing.
Brutal.
Yeah, brutal. Like you'll wake up, all your windscreens will be iced.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's like sweltering hot during lunchtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I live.
When we're talking about temperatures, are we talking about it getting low enough to where turbo diesels are having a hard time cranking? Y'all got to run block heaters and anti-gel?
Oh, no, it's none of that.
Okay.
Yeah. So my background is I did my apprenticeship with Caterpillar.
Okay.
Yeah, and so farming, prime movers, agriculture equipment.
Yeah.
That's my background.
I was a diesel mechanic when I got out of the Marine Corps for a couple years. Yeah.
Well, that's my core business.
Yeah.
I'm a diesel mechanic. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, prime movers, trailers. Or anything Caterpillar.
Yeah.
I always say like tires, tracks, and tits will fuck you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it just it was always a motto that we kind of
Hell
do
yeah,
that.
dude.
And, that's gonna be good content. That was.
Yeah, that's good.
We should brand that. Put some merch on there.
That's a t-shirt all day.
All day. Yeah. I just certain amount of people. So is that what you did in the military? Like diesel mechanic?
A little here and there. It depends on stateside stuff. Really, my time in the military was kind of a weird experience that felt a little bit like, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas at times. It's kind of bouncing around and a bunch of wild boys. In the American Marine Corps, it's an anything goes type thing.
Gotcha.
At any time, you just do whatever you're fucking told to do. So
Wow. Hard to adjust to that from where you came from into that.
I think they're so equipped to destroy who you used to be when you get there.
Break you down.
That's right. And when you come off of the get with a fresh slate, so it didn't even though it was a major adjustment period, it didn't really feel like a major adjustment period.
Yeah. What do you think they kind of see as a shell and they go like, you fit this frame, now we can just break it down, put the pieces we want in and then point you and off you go?
And I think even the time that I went in the Marine Corps in 2008, and it was kind of a anything goes. They were signing all kinds of crazy waivers because we were pushing up the troop force to go for, second round invasion of Afghanistan. Wow. So you didn't even really have to fit a framework. I mean, there were cats, maybe myself included, who probably shouldn't have even been there. They kind of got in. Not that you didn't have to earn your stripes or whatever. You had to bust your ass and survive Marine Corps boot camp, which is a pretty brutal, at least at the time, was a pretty brutal process. But yeah, they deconstruct your experience and your ego to nothing. Wow. And then put in kind of a mechanized Marine Corps thought process. One mind, any weapon.
Yeah.
That type of shit.
Did you feel like that was happening? Did you realize it was happening as it was happening? Or was it like, how old were you when?
Yeah, I was 18.
And because you kind of maybe it's just a hoo-ha, let's go kind of mentality, or you're like, this doesn't feel right?
Yeah, I had one moment. I was telling my bass player, young Ethan, about this the other day. It was like, you get through receiving, and it's like a couple days of very little food, no sleep, and receiving drill instructors run around screaming at everybody, and it's just super chaotic. And then you get to go to bed for the first night, and I was on the top rack, and they scream, lights, 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 and they turn off the lights, and I close my eyes, and immediately the lights came back on, and shit was flying everywhere. They were throwing footlockers around, and I swung my legs over the top bunk as I was trying to wake up, because you only have a couple seconds to be online and ready.
Gotcha.
Or they're going to shit mix the house. And I looked down at my feet, and I was wearing brown socks that are like, nearly knee highs. And I was like, what did you fucking do, bro? You could be in college right now. Why didn't you do that? And then I kind of snapped out of that immediately, and it was one of those situations where it's like, you're here now, so you're going to step up and knock it out.
Yeah. I mean, what got you there? Like, obviously you signed up, but is it lack of opportunity? Is it kind of?
Absolutely. I've got a line in one of my songs, you went to college and I went to war, and that's how it goes when your family's poor. The reality for folks in where I'm from in North Alabama, it's the southernmost point of Appalachia. It's still coal country, and we're all poor, and you don't really have access to any kind of opportunity like that. You can do what your dad did if you're lucky, or find a way out. And for me, it was some access to an opportunity to use the GI Bill to go to college. But there was a bit of patriotism behind it as well. I don't know how explicit we get on this podcast here. So if we
so the way it is, that's your mic.
Yeah.
You talk,
okay.
You do whatever. We want to hear your story.
I feel like this will resonate with some of the kids from my era. You know, we were 9/11 kids. We watched the Twin Towers get hit when we were in classrooms. They rolled the fucking TV in for us to watch. I still don't know why that was a great idea. I probably don't know. I don't know if I would have done that if I was teachers and administrators. But Live Leak had some real fucked up shit rolling around when I was a senior in high school. And there was this one video in particular where the Taliban hacked up some young ladies. They had a row of them. And seeing some shit like that, it did something to me in a way that was like, somebody's got to do something about that.
This ain't right.
If it's not me, who else? You know, that was my major push to be like, okay. So this is an evil thing. This isn't a political thing. You know, which after the experience, you come to find that that's a little misguided.
Yeah.
Young man radicalized by some propaganda. Truly, was my experience to give me the ultimate push, but. I was a Southern man. I was proud to be from America, you know, and go take up arms to defend my country and all the things that you hear as a young man. So
and I feel like, I mean, from Australia, I mean, I'm politically naive to anything over here, but it's people have got so many opinions about stuff like that. And I always say, unless you went there or experienced it, just hold your opinion to yourself. To your right.
Yeah.
I mean, just a bit of a. Again, I'm not going to get political on this, but it's not a political podcast, but in Australia, we don't have that military complex idea. And everyone kind of looks to Australia like, look, they got free healthcare and stuff like that. We don't have a big military.
Yeah.
We don't need one. Because China rolled up and said, we're taking Australia. America just comes and saves the day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's going, you got, and I'm not, you know, everyone says, oh, America's the police of the world. It's like, yeah, but they are, but we all get the free stuff. You guys carry the burden of that. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's young men and women out there diving into that, but they're protecting everyone's shores.
Yeah, you know, and I hadn't really thought about it like that, and maybe so. I think...
I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying America does do a lot of the heavy lifting.
Yeah, and I think it's easy, you know, when we start to consider things from a nationalistic perspective of us versus them, Americans or Australians, et cetera.
Yeah.
You know, in my line of work as an artist and a creator, I tend to get down a lot of holes of thinking and trying to possess any kind of empathy and put myself in the shoes. And I lean into the designation of I'm a proud American. I am. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I'm very proud of that. Although I don't know if that's the coolest thing I've ever done or will be the coolest thing I've ever done before. That's not really my singular identity anymore. But I tend to look and really think of us all as, we're human beings, dude. We're the same. We have so much more in common than we don't. And now I'm not here trying to pigtail for a globalist elite agenda of one world order or anything.
Yeah.
That could probably get a little sketchy. But, you know, if you can help. If you can't, don't. Take care of your house. Look out for people and be good to people. That's probably a good
It's been a common theme
mantra.
with Justin Wells and Braden Mullins. It's a theme. It's kind of, I mentioned this before, I'll probably say it a few times on this podcast, but it's like if everyone just put all their junk out in front of them, like their emotional baggage, you'd probably take yours back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what people need to realize is like everyone's carrying a load.
For sure.
And we should be, you know, considerate of what people are going through. And they may say something that you don't agree with, but they're going through a whole different thing.
That's
like,
right.
Be patient with this person. I mean, the online thing is like you might say something 10 years ago and your opinion changes, you grow. But at that moment, it's like, no, that's who he is. It's like, no, he's growing.
That's right.
He said something stupid. So what? Like, get over it. And I think we've lost that a little bit as well.
Yeah, and you know, and I look back at, I'm even since sobriety, I'm 15 different versions of myself than I was 4 years ago, the last time I was running around Kentucky. It's a thing that, you know, I hold fast to the fact that you can't really judge anyone at all because if you're given their exact set of circumstances, you're the same person. Mm-hmm. You look at people here in Appalachia, addiction's a huge deal.
Yeah.
And we're split down the middle. Some people like to act like those people are the less thans or the others of society, and some of us realize that one slip disc and we're in the same shoe they are.
Yeah.
The thing that kept me from running addiction all the way to the furthest end of that spectrum is the fact that I have a wonderful support system and people that love me all across the nation do anything in the world to help me. So who the fuck would I be to be looking down on some people who don't have that, need a little help and can't get it anywhere? So the only thing they can do to find some relief is drugs. Mm-hmm. I've fucking been there.
Yeah, we want to, at times we all want to escape this world.
That's right.
And we're talking to Braden, I was talking to Braden, we were talking about suicide, and that's the options. Alter your mind so you forget about where you are, but don't be here anymore. And we're talking about like suicide. You don't end the sorrow; you just pass it on.
That's right.
You give it to someone else, and drug. I mean, I was at your show last night and you were talking about sobriety and talking about how, you was kind of like annoying people so much because you're ringing them and wearing them
wear
out.
them out.
Yeah, and I think that's where that point comes is like, am I being a burden on everyone? I mean, I'm just that lost cause that I'm just a burden. I just don't want to be here. And that's what people need to realize. Like, I mean, you think you're a burden, but committing suicide you're still a burden. You're even more of a burden because everyone's going to go, I should have picked up that phone. I should have returned that text and stuff like that. So, I mean.
Yeah, and it carries the people that love you, provided you're lucky enough to have that. Mm-hmm. That's something that never leaves them. But you also think about the people that are hopeless and maybe feel like they don't have anyone. We've been on the road with the Drop Tines for a good while now. We've played all over the place, but we had an opportunity to do a performance and kind of a hangout at the Middle of America Sobriety House there in Louisville, Kentucky, and that place has been hit hard. Mm. And, when I walked in the room, it seemed like some of those, you could see people in different stages of their recovery, people that just got there and felt like they didn't have any hope, they didn't want to make eye contact with folks, and then some people that are starting to reestablish their, experience with their jobs, and some of them have vehicles, they're starting to move in directions, and families and those things, and it's like, I felt compelled to just let them know, like, hey, you are made of the same thing that I am made of. Mm-hmm. And society at times likes to put people in categories of other.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to let them know, and anybody who might be struggling this, paying attention to this, don't let society make you feel less than because you're going through some shit.
Yeah.
Like you're the same thing that we all are, and you have the same grit in you to get out and be successful and have that leg up. And, albeit very limited resources, there are some resources out there, and I beg of you, before you make any lasting decisions, seek those out. There is some help.
Yeah, and people that are going through it as well, you realize, like, you scratch people that are pointing at you and calling you other, you only have to scratch the surface of their life and you will peel back. They're going through their own demons as well.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
That's why I try to tell people, it's not as, look at social media, it's not as pretty as you think it is. I mean, like we say, we take a family photo and we're all smiling, all happy, but 2 minutes before that photo, we're at each other's throats.
Yeah, that's everybody's highlight reel.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're living the life. And it's like, we had screaming kids before that. And, me and my wife were talking about divorce 10 times that day.
That's right.
Not seriously talking about it, but someone's just like, what the going on? And especially big theme that's been going on lately is the wives being that strong point, staying home and building, keeping the fires going and building that home and stuff like that. But yeah, I agree with you. I think everyone just need to, before you take that step, like reach out. There's always someone who's going to be to help, and you just need to, technology has been a hindrance to society and what we're trying as people, but there's access to stuff like that.
There is, and truly, even with my own experience with suicidal ideation and those things, it's like it passes. If you can manage to hang on and cling to any semblance of hope, like generally it's a tough spot. It's not, and sure, life is tough, but the human experience is volatile. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be wild excitement and wins and love and wonder, and then you're going to land on the deepest depths of sorrow and devastation at times. And that's kind of, if you can get in a space of recognizing that you need the peak of the wave, and you need the valley. It's going to be one of those things that you can learn a lot of lessons in those times of tribulation, build a little character, and you're going to be much more equipped. I told the folks at that recovery house, it's like, people have never been through anything at all, don't have the fucking skill set and the tools that you have to get out and be resilient and overcome some stuff. Like, there are people who have an easier go than other people. That's the reality of our society, especially in a commercialistic aspect. But getting down in the ditches, a little dirt on your hands builds you some tough calluses, makes it easier to swing the hammer.
Yeah, and I think also, like, for myself, raising children in this world, so I brutally honest. So I grew up in a trailer park with a mum who was an addict, and I was lucky enough that I could remove myself from that and go live with my dad. And, but I was one path that way, I'm gone, and the next path that way, I chose the right one. My mum was a housemaid, like clean hotel rooms and stuff like that, and I'd sit and watch the new movies that were coming out in the hotel, and sit on the bed and stuff like that. But now raising children, like I make sure that they appreciate these people. You know, and it's not that other thing. It's like they're people like just us. We clean the room before we leave.
That's right.
It's not so. We just go, that they'll clean that up. And I think going through that experiences, you got to pass that on to the kids. If you want to break the cycle,
That's how you make the change.
yeah, break the cycle. Don't expose them to the stuff you expose to. But my mum wasn't just all bad though, and I bring the good stuff of my mum into it.
That's right.
And I think that's important for us to. If we want to make the change, let's start breaking the cycle. It starts at home.
That's right. It definitely starts with the kids, and I try with my children the same way. I'm very real with them about things. Sometimes people tend to shelter children, particularly in the last couple of generations, and I feel like there are some things you need to be protective against with your kids, but you also need to let them understand the realities of this world and keep things fair and honest for them so they can have an appropriate perspective. But
Yeah, I mean, so let's tie this into the music, into the songwriting. That's what it's about, the dance.
And I never learned to dance. You hold my hand and take me away, and I still care.
You want to tell us a bit like where that came about, how you wrote the song? Tell us a bit about it.
yeah, I'd gotten sober. I've been sober a couple times and found my way back to it, but that was on this branch of sobriety, the one that I feel like is going to be the final one. Mm-hmm. And I was sober long enough to where it feels horrible at first. You're like, I want to go honky tonk with my friends. This sucks.
Yeah.
Your brain starts telling you all these things about you don't really have a problem. You can stop. You just stopped. If you just stopped, how do you have a problem?
Yeah.
And then as a songwriter, it's been a common thing with my other friends that are sober that your brain starts to tell you you're going to lose your edge. And sometimes the fans will tell you you're going to lose your edge as well.
They say that about Tyler. It's like
I say a lot about
Tyler's
Tyler.
old stuff, you know.
And that shit's unfair. And all I got to say is listen to Nose on the Grindstone he just dropped.
Yeah.
Tyler Childers is still the king, like
Yeah.
it or don't, sober or not.
Yeah.
So those comments aren't really helpful. People are entitled to their own opinions. I don't think anybody lays any stake in that. But I got into a place to where I was sober. I wasn't really thinking about it much. And I started having panic attacks out of the blue. And I never really dealt with any fear before. When I, got out of the Marine Corps and tried to kind of assimilate back into the real world, I dealt with a lot of rage and aggression. I was a very angry person. And I went through lots of therapy and stuff. But I didn't, anxiety was a thing, but it wasn't fear in the way that, like, if you ever had panic attacks or struggle with panic disorder like I do, to where it's nonsensical, there's no trigger, out of the blue, everything's going good, and all of a sudden I'm pretty sure I'm going to die.
Wow.
It's a devastating thing, and it was hitting me, particularly at the time, so hard that I couldn't really do much of anything but just sit in a chair and count my pulse. I still wear an Apple Watch, the most hideous thing in the world, because I need to hit an ECG to make sure I'm not having some kind of weird heart thing, even though there's nothing wrong with me physically. And I was calling, my support system, everyone in my family, at all hours of the night, and they reassure you, you're okay, everything's good, it's going to be all right, buddy. There's nothing wrong. You've been to the emergency room 19 times this month. Everything's fine, you know? And then it gets to that point, like being a songwriter, I pay attention to people in conversations, mannerisms, nonverbal communications, just every little thing about the way a human being interacts, I'm kind of tuned into. So you can hear on the other end of the line with these people that love you and support you no matter what, that it's 3 a.m, they got to fucking work the next day. They're tired.
Yeah.
They don't have time to talk you down on the phone for 15 minutes. And I started feeling an immense amount of guilt and shame. I was embarrassed because in my own mind, I knew that I was okay. Mm-hmm. But I could not convince myself that I was okay.
Yeah.
So I got to that spot to where I started isolating myself from them, and that's when shit got really dark.
Yeah.
Because I was at a point where I was like, I can't live like this. Like, I literally cannot handle this. And now I feel like I wore out all the people that I lean on to make it through this.
Yeah.
what the fuck am I going to do? And I was sitting at a truck stop on tour. I was by myself. I went out and did a solo tour, just me and a guitar. And I was sitting there at 2 p.m, and that it just came out.
Just
Yeah.
wow.
I just wrote down the words from start to finish as like a bolt of lightning struck me, and I had to get it down before it went away.
Yeah.
And then when I got back to the room, I grabbed the guitar out and just cried like a child and
It
played
strummed
it.
away, yeah. And
Yeah.
that came easy when you started strumming. That all come together pretty quick.
Yeah, I already knew. It started off with that big anthemic chorus, I Never Learned to Dance, and I kind of felt the key signature and the vocal melody of that whole thing. And I've been writing long enough now that I can, it sounds ridiculous to say out loud, but when I hear a line in my mind, I almost have a key signature and a melody line with it. So it kind of, I almost feel non-responsible for the creation. It's almost like they write themselves, and I
Yeah.
just kind of punch it up until it's
Yeah.
formative.
Like an outside muse, and you're just the vessel that puts it out there.
That's right. But that's where that one came from, just feeling that shame and sorrow that I was kind of wearing out the folks that I love with the struggle that I was going through, because in all of that time, I had no energy or ability to be considerate of any of their needs.
Yeah, yeah.
And in relationships, it's got to be a two-way street, but I was so devastated and truly in trouble that I didn't have time or energy to be support for anyone else.
Yeah.
And that got me in a pretty sketchy cycle.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I mean, you go from listening to all your stuff, you go from that, and then you go to Same Size Hole.
Doubles with the pills, and we all in the same size hole. We all go.
And I was like, have I tapped into Pink Floyd?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, it's like Pink Floyd. I'm like, am I listening to Pink Floyd now? So
Yeah.
I'm interested in that one.
It's been an honor to have. That's been the main comparison, and I love that band. I think that band is one of the greatest bands of all time. I didn't grow up on country music. I grew up on Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and all of the major rock arena legends of our time. And that song came from what we were talking about earlier. We all go in the same size hole when we die.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody any different than anybody else. People have struggles. You don't know any fucking thing about anybody else's struggle. You're not in their shoes. It's wise of you to be recognizant of that at all times.
Yeah, they don't dig up people and say, oh, this person had this and this person had this problem. It's just the bones.
Yeah.
They can tell you male, female, whatever, but they can't, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's exactly right. That's where we all end up, and you're right.
That's right. And then for the sonic, the productive aspect of that song in general, we we had 10 days to make that record. A buddy of mine is a legend in the grunge rock scene from Stone Temple Pilots and REM and a bunch of other big records involvement out in, I want to say, Toast Studios in LA in the 90s. He called me up. He's like, dude, want to make another record for the homies in the industry. Got 10 days to get it done. Would love you to come down.
Wow.
So we were like, all right, we'll be there tomorrow. Took my band in there, no session players or anything on that. Had some of the songs written, wrote some of them in studio, off the get while we were going. But we started the session with that song.
Oh, wow.
And having 8 days to do it by the time we got there.
It's a big song.
We spent 2.5 days on the song just getting wild. It was like, we're going to get this one out of the way for us.
Yeah.
And we're going to do what we would do if we had 95 days to make this record for this one. And then the whole point of Alive in Alabama is that the record's kind of, as y'all seen last night, it leans a little more into like what you're going to get in the live show
Yeah.
versus what to expect from a studio productive effort like Fallacies and Four-Letter Words is a very pristine, sonically intentional record as far as arrangements and stuff go. And then we kind of let loose and turned it up to much like we want to do with a live show on Alive in Alabama.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, I love that song. I mean, we're going to get you to play a song for us.
Yeah.
Today, what do you want to play?
Play a new one, can play an old one,
Just do a new one.
do a brand new one.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
What's it called?
I think it's called Closer. I'm not sure yet. It's so new that we don't really
Oh,
have a
love
name
it.
for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wrote it it's been a couple of weeks ago now, but we tried it out last night and went over really well.
Yeah. Let's do it.
In
the cold outside and your red wine, and I can't drink and still be fine. I miss those days. I miss the ways you held me so closely, and you showed me that mostly I could say what I feel. With the moon on your skin, I swear. And I never learned to dance. You hold my hand and take me away, and I still can't stay alone by myself. I'm coming apart. You're the last thing I'll lose. It's the last thing I'll start. Trapped in my skin and worn a little thin. All the things I can't hide, I bury within. I can't face, I'll just fade away. But you held me so closely, and you showed me that mostly I could say what I feel. On your skin, I swear. And I never learned to dance. You hold my hand and take me away, and I still can't stay alone by myself. I'm coming apart. You're the last thing I'll lose. It's the last thing I'll start. And I never learned to dance. You hold my hand and take me away, and I still can't stay alone by myself. I'm coming apart. You're the last thing I'll lose. It's the last thing I'll start. And the cold outside and your red wine, and I can't drink and still be fine. I miss those days.
Thank you for listening to the Songwriter Podcast. You can find out more about this artist in the show notes, including links to their work. Rob Hillier is the host of the Songwriter Podcast and the founder, CEO of Jam Nation. Brad Luttrell is our executive producer. Jacob Bozarth is our co-producer. The show was recorded and edited by Sam Tucker with Tucker Creative. The show's incredible intro vocals are by singer-songwriter Emily Jamerson. Thank you to Pine Mountain State Park for hosting these conversations and Bell County Tourism for helping us coordinate. This show is brought to you by Jam Nation. If you haven't heard of Jam Nation, it's an app not just for fans, but fanatics. Jam Nation app tracks your listens, it connects you with other top fans, and it helps you earn not only bragging rights, but you're going to get exclusive access to content, tickets, and more. We're always adding in new features, so it's going to continue to evolve. This is your chance to get in early. You can download the Jam Nation app from the app stores right now, and many of the artists that are on this show and coming on this show are already there. If you enjoyed this episode, we really would appreciate a rating on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you're listening. It really matters. I promise you it does, and it helps the show grow, gives us traction, and gives us social proof so that we can continue to go out and get more songwriters on the podcast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you soon on The Songwriter, where we explore the life behind the lyric.
Take my hand, I'd like this dance. The night moves slow in a quick advance. So I take my time and I study you, breathing in the way you move. And the moon is long now on the trees, the sheen, the lace ink on your knees. And the candlelight dances on your waist, an anchor moves around the place. You know I'm closer than I've ever been before. And pull me under before I walk out the door. Give ourselves too easily. I guess I'm just not worth anything but a primal collision, the flight, the fall, when souls turn to shadows on the wall. Impossible game, wish I wouldn't play. Love you all night, overthink every day. It breaks me down, yeah, you fuck me up, and I'm left here holding an empty cup. And oh, I'm closer than I've ever been. Should just walk out the door. Take my hand,